Hello, everyone. My guest today is Andrew Field. He is the founder of PFL. Andrew, are you ready to take us to the top?
Let's go.
All right. What is PFL and how do you guys make money?
PFL started as the world's first e-commerce commercial printer way back in '96. Since then, we've expanded to become the leader of a new category that we call tactile marketing automation. And in short, we help people with marketing, both in the more traditional sense of print and direct mail, as well as we today have integrations with Marketo, Oracle Eloqua, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and Salesforce Sales Cloud that enable people to leverage the rich behavioral data that resides in those systems of record to inform their most expensive touch and to have orchestrated true multi-channel marketing.
This is send a handwritten letter to this client once they hit this activation metric based off the Marketo API tied into PFL.
It's not so much handwritten, but we do dimensional mail, we do boxes, we do personalized notes, we do pretty much anything that is legal to send through the mail or FedEx.
Very good. Now, is it a SaaS platform or is it pay as you go?
It's a SaaS platform for the software subscription, and it's pay as you go for what we call the consumption, which is the box with the mug and the Starbucks Vias in it and the printed piece, et cetera.
So when we just look at the SaaS side of the business over the past 12 months, what percent of your revenue is actually just the SaaS versus the markup on the Starbucks mug you said?
It's about a quarter for the SaaS, and the rest of it is the consumption.
Interesting. Okay. And what's the trend? Is it more SaaS or less SaaS over time?
Well, for our company as a whole, if I divided it differently and if I said, here's e-commerce print, where you go to printingforless.com and configure your order, upload your file, that area is just right now being surpassed by our SaaS platform, the Tactile Marketing Automation.
Interesting. Okay, let's just focus on your SaaS platform. So on that platform, what's the average customer paying per month? I'm sure you have a bunch of cohorts, but on average?
It's in the $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And
okay.
The reason for that is people don't start at that level of spend. They end up there because we insist that they very carefully measure ROI, because we can rapidly become a six-figure-a-year line item. And when some CFO comes along and says, what in the world did you spend $300,000 and who's PFL? We want that marketer to be able to say, well, let me show you that $300,000 we spent in the last 12 months helped us close $5 million of new business.
And launched the company in 97, is that right?
In 96.
1996, very good. And then fast forward to today, how many customers do you have just on the SaaS platform?
On the SaaS platform, we have about 300 customers.
Okay. And can I take 300 times $8,000? The average you said they each pay to kind of get your monthly recurring revenue, which would be 2.4 million.
You did. That was perfect, except you didn't go times 12 for 12 months.
Well, that's because I was talking about MRR, not ARR.
Oh, yes. That would be right in the ballpark of our MRR.
Okay. Very good. And again, just on the SaaS side.
Yeah.
That's good. What does growth rate look like on that? So if you're doing 2.4 million today, what were you doing about a year ago?
So we started in 14. We started on the path of the famous triple, double, double, double. So we tripled in 15, tripled in 16, doubled in 17, and we're on track to double this year.
That's great. Okay, so you were doing about 1.2 million a month about a year ago.
Sure.
That's That's really healthy growth. Very impressive. But by the way, this space is very interesting to me because as everything gets more digital, like we started sending out, this physical mailer, which is essentially a magazine for B2B SaaS CEOs. And the amount of feedback we got on this, like way larger than anything we've ever done digital. So we're going all in on physical, right? It's just go the opposite of what the market's doing, right?
Yeah, well, you're actually right on trend, because what people are finding is, obviously, if you can get a customer to take the next action in their journey with an email, do it, because email is, a fraction of a cent a piece and you can do it at scale. But it's for the people who are ignoring that, the people who are heavily utilizing Gmail spam filters or SaneBox or something like that means they're just not interacting anymore. Or if they have what we call digital clutter fatigue. The different sources say people between 3 and 10,000 marketing messages a day. I mean, your gas pump talks to you, for crying out loud. And so we try to help people cut through that digital clutter and get noticed and drive business results.
And bootstrapped, or have you raised capital?
We bootstrapped for the better part of 20 years. And then earlier this year, we raised a $25 million round from Goldman Sachs.
Okay, so 25 million bucks into the company. And can I ask at a high level, generally speaking, valuation wise, were you pushing 4, 5, 6x AR, or what were you able to negotiate?
You can ask, but we're not going there.
Okay, okay. What would you generally find a healthy environment or not a healthy environment for SaaS valuations?
I think it's an insane valuation for SaaS companies. I think when you see these Bay Area VCs throwing, $30 million at a, $1 million or $250,000 MRR company, most of them don't pan out.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I would agree with you. Okay, good. So 25 million bucks raised here recently. I am curious though, there had to have been discussions with Goldman whether to value like a SaaS platform, which typically have much higher multiples, but it's only a quarter of your revenue. I mean, how did you have that debate about should you be like a e-commerce multiple or a SaaS multiple?
We kind of took a sum of the parts approach.
Okay. Okay, so 25% SaaS, 75% blended, and take it from there.
You give it a shot.
No, thank you. All right, so very good. 96 launch. Talk to me about churn. Churn's obviously critical. What's your churn today?
Our churn is modest. The reason is as long as people are measuring their ROI, which we really work hard to get them to do, they can see that it's working. So essentially, we think of it like this: we sell you a box, and maybe that box is 20, depending on trim levels, $20,000 to $60,000 a year for the box. But every time you put $1 in the box, the only question is, are you going to get a 10, a 20, a 50, or 100 coming out? So why would anybody not renew the $20,000 a year box when every time you put $1 in, 20 times that pops out? I'll give you an illustration. We had a customer.
Well, hold on. Hey, sorry, Andrew, before you do that, what is the number though? So what is your revenue churn per year today?
It's right about 100% net revenue retention.
Okay, good. So everything you lose, you're making up by expansion.
Right.
Okay, and now give me the example.
So the example is we have a customer who's been with us quite some time called Invoca. It's a call intelligence software as a service based in Santa Barbara. And they had an offer, which I'm sure you've seen some of, and the offer said, if you take a 30-minute demo, we'll give you a $50 Amazon gift card. And they delivered that offer via email, retargeting ads, and random BDR voicemails. What we added to it was two things: a tactile or physical component and orchestration working through their Marketo. So today they had about a 1% response rate of booking demos against their MQL list. Today they added to that, they still warm them up with emails and retargeting ads. And then instead of a random BDR voicemail, a box shows up and it has the Invoca label on it. And you open it up and there's a $50 Amazon gift card that we printed, so it's fake. And it's on a little tray with a pen and a calculator and a ROI attribution card. And you peel up the $50 Amazon gift card and you think you just got $50. And on the back it says, if you want the real thing, you have to do a 30-minute demo in the next 14 days. And the psychologist tells people are 10 times as likely to take action due to fear of loss than desire for gain. And in that moment, they just lost $50. Then Julia's a brilliant marketer. She reinforces that with loss language. Instead of saying, grow your revenue with Invoca, it says, find out how much revenue you're missing out on with poor call intelligence. And then within 15 minutes, that box being delivered, the phone rings and it's a BDR saying, did you get the box? Can we talk about it? And
yeah, that's a great example.
1% response rate to a 22% demo booking rate, and their close rate stayed the same.
That's great. I love that story. That's helpful. Talk to me about the makeup of your team today. What are you guys at total team size?
We have about 330 people. Our primary locations are Livingston, Montana, where I'm sitting, 50 miles north of Yellowstone National Park. We have an office in Bozeman, and we have a second headquarters in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, nice. So Montana and kind of other remote locations. And then as you're getting and adding new customers, adding to your 300 today, what are you willing to spend to acquire one of these new customers that are paying you, call it 8, 9, 10 grand per month?
It depends on which size, because they aren't average. I mean, we have less than a 12-month payback period, I guess.
Okay, that was my question. Yeah. Good. So less than 12-month payback, no matter what the cohort is.
Right.
Yeah. And when you do spend money, what are you spending it on? Is there direct paid spend, or is it mostly an inside sales team, or what?
It's we're conventionally structured. We move from marketing captured leads that come from a variety of advertising and marketing things. A lot of shows. We just dropped about 200 grand on Dreamforce, for instance. And then
positive ROI.
Yeah, all the previous Dreamforces. This was our fifth. All the previous ones ended up with a positive ROI, but because our sales cycle averages in the 6-month range, it takes a while to see it.
Yeah.
And then we go to marketing qualified leads, BDRs work them, then it goes to account execs. And then actually our biggest revenue opportunity is the customer success managers post-close, because people usually start with one program they want to run. Let's say it's a top of the funnel program. And then we work with them to get a funnel acceleration program, a renewals program, and an events program up and going.
Andrew, do your CS people carry quota?
Absolutely.
They do. Okay. See, this is a very interesting debate right now, and there's not a good answer. I've talked to CEOs all in the 100 million kind of run rate. They all have CS folks. Some of them carry quota, some of them don't. So yours do carry quota. What % of their kind of annual salary typically comes up being, base plus the upside?
Well, you're going to find this interesting. They have a quota because they can grow the business organically without a new contract and without new software. And it's a consumption business that they grow
Through expansion.
Through expansion. But as a company, philosophically, nobody gets paid on a commission because we want one team working off of one number. So everybody's variable comp is based on company-wide numbers, not individual performance, because I don't really want to have a winning player on a losing team.
So let's say the whole team hits the goal. How do you decide who gets what of the upside of the bonus?
That's sort of predetermined ahead of time. It's part of people's salary negotiations and that sort of thing. So they know what their upside potential is.
Yeah.
But they, we don't know what percentage of achievement or overachievement, by the way, we're going to hit as a company.
Gosh, I would love to push harder here, just learn this, because again, it's so new. I want to role play with you for a second. I'm just now joining your company. I'm going to be on the CS team. I'm going to make this up. My base is 40 grand, maybe something like, is that fair? Is that kind of in a range of what you might pay for a CS person?
No, we pay higher than that.
Okay. Double?
Sure.
A new person, not a lot of experience.
Well, probably less than 80, but
okay.
I wish I could hire anybody for 40.
Okay, good. So let's say 60. In my head, what am I looking at every day going, I need to help the team hit that thing so I get a little extra bump? Is it a bookings growth target? Is it an ARR target? What is it?
It's based on a number of things. We look for very hard company-wide at new business. One of our 3 this quarter, we change it up every quarter, and there's usually 3 different metrics that we're attaching upside to. For the last several quarters, one of those metrics has been Net Promoter Score, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And so to hit low goal on Net Promoter Score is 75 score, medium is 80, and high is 85. Last quarter, for instance, we hit 81.
Okay. So let's say the team hits 85. Give me an example of what money in my account that might look like because the whole team hit 85.
I don't want to get into the specifics of salary, but what I'll say, I thought you were going to role play the actual, when people say, well, what's the pay package look like? Here's what I tell them to maybe make it easier for all of your listeners.
Yeah.
What I tell them is, I'm going to pay you as if you're hitting OTE, and one of 3 things is going to happen in 6 months. Either number 1, you're going to be crushing it and you'll get a big raise. Number 2, you'll be roughly hitting your OTE, your quota, and you'll keep your job. And number 3, if you're falling far short, you're going to go down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. That's helpful.
We just lay that out for people. And Nate, one thing that does, that weeds out people who aren't confident that they can sell. Because I don't think the biggest problem of having a salesperson not hitting quota, the biggest problem is not made up for by the fact that you're saving their bonus if they're on a straight sales commission. The biggest problem is the wasted leads. You have a lead that could have gone to a closer, and instead it went to somebody who didn't succeed, and you wasted all the effort that went into those leads.
Yep. Andrew, makes perfect sense. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Quick answers here. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Business is a Calling.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Well, I look at a lot of different CEOs. I watch Elon, of course, just out of sort of fascination. And we have a very tight partnership with Salesforce. And I'm always looking at Benioff because I think he's a visionary moving forward.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building a business?
Well, we're a Salesforce customer. We use Marketo very heavily. We have a pretty advanced implementation of Marketo. And personally, I'm a big fan of Evernote.
Okay. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I shoot for 7.5. They say sleep comes in 90-minute sleep cycles.
Is that what you get, 7.5?
Yeah, pretty well.
Okay. And what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
Been married for 35 years this December. No kids.
No kids. That's great. And how old are you?
I'm 59, and if you want to say I might have one kid, come here, Lucky. Come here. Right here. There you go.
Aw, very good. All right. And last question here. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
How hard this was going to be, I probably would have chickened out.
Guys, it's probably harder than you think. Again, PFL launched many years ago, 1996, turned on a SaaS model in 2014. Now has about 300 customers on that, paying $8,000 a month. So $2.4 million per month there in revenue. Obviously, multiplied by 12 to get ARR of about 28 million just on that line of business. That's about a quarter of their business. Again, helps you basically do tactile marketing, right? So sending out physical objects related to your other online marketing flows, whether it's a Marketo integration or Salesforce. They just raised $25 million from Goldman Sachs. They are about doubling year over year. So that 2.8 right now, or 2.4 today, is up from 1.2 million a month just about a year ago. They've got a team of about 330 people in Montana and other remote locations. Andrew, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you. Take care.